So, hello, Sallie. My name is Robin. I'm doing Rugspirations. This is our very first one for 2023, which I'm still in shock that we're here. Rugspirations is videos where we meet with different rug hookers and rug makers of all kinds from different places and learn a little bit about them and what they why they do what they do. So Sallie, thank you so much for joining me. This is Sallie Boody from Connecticut, joining me, who's been hooking for a long time, and I'm so happy that she agreed to do this. Welcome, Sallie.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Perfect. So we have our same questions that I ask all of all my guests, but we never know where they'll take us. So that's okay. Yeah, do you want to say a little bit about where you're from other than just Connecticut?
Okay. I live in Old Saybrook, Connecticut, which is at the mouth of the Connecticut River. And we border on Long Island Sound and can see Long Island when we go down by the water. And I live in the community where Katharine Hepburn, the actress, grew up. And she grew up with my mom. So we're very familiar with her. And it was always fun to see her, but we didn't pay any attention to her because she didn't like that. So we paid no attention. If she was in the grocery store, everyone knew, don't talk to her, just say hi, and that's all.
That's all. But if she was friends with your mom, I imagine they would just hang out like friends would hang out.
Oh yeah, they grew up together, and she would sometimes, my mom had a long driveway that kind of curved in. And I remember one day I was there, Caddy came flying in the driveway, turned around, got out of the car to say, she was very flamboyant about something that she needed to talk to mom about.
Oh, that's pretty fun.
Yeah. And there's one story my mom gave her she had her appendix, I think it was her appendix out, and mom sent her tulips. And she got a thank you note, thanking her from Caddy, as mom called her, thanking her for the tulips. And my grandmother said to mom, now you save that letter. That Caddy is going to be famous someday, and you save that letter.
Oh my goodness. So she knew before she was famous that she was going to be famous.
Yeah.
And did she save the letter?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We have a Katharine Hepburn museum in our town. Yeah. And it's quite amazing. And my mom is there reading the letter. So it's fun. When I need to visit, have a mom moment, I go in there and listen to mom talk. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so the first question is.
Yeah, the first question is, who or what got you started into rug hooking?
We used to have wonderful church fairs in Old Saybrook in the summertime. And I went to the church fair at the Congregational Church in 1992, and they had a silent auction. And I was tired of knitting, and my shoulders hurt, my elbows hurt, nothing was right. And there was this thing for rug hooking, Learn to Rug Hook, 4 lessons by Natalie Kuhneman, who lived in our town, who was quite a rug hooker. And I bid $25 back in 1992. And then I came home, and then I went back because I was determined. I don't know why, but I was determined that I was going to get this. And so I bid $35.
Ooh.
Which back, I think in 1992 is probably quite a bit of money. I'm not sure. And I got it. Oh. And I couldn't find it this morning, but the first thing, so then I had to wait till the hot summer was over, and I started in September. I had my 4 lessons. I learned to cut, wait a second. I learned to cut the strips. And of course, what was the pattern? The pattern was Shaded Flower, the Rose Pattern by Jane McGowan.
Oh my goodness, for your very first piece.
I think you can maybe,
yeah.
I think you can see it.
Wow.
And somewhere it is just like that. It has never been bound. It has never been finished. It is not my thing. And she kept talking about fingering. I could never understand what fingering was. Yeah, so this will be in September will be my 32nd year no,
No,
31st year,
31st. Yeah.
31st year
Wow.
of rug hooking. And I mostly did although I looked today and between 92 and 96, I had designed 17 rugs. Some of them weren't small either. And then I kind of stopped, and then I used everybody else's pattern.
Wow.
And then I met somebody by the name of Robin. And Robin stopped all those patterns, and I would much prefer to do all my own.
All your own again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love doing it. COVID was the best for rug hooking. I got with a group and we met 7 days a week.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I realized this year when we stopped doing that a lot of my life didn't happen. like meals.
Yeah.
Things like that, because I was always on at 4 o'clock and I hooked till 5:30 or 6, and then, oh dear, I have to make dinner.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Didn't go so well. So I did a lot of hooking, and that really, I think, was such a jump starter for me. Even though I've been hooking for almost 30 years at that point, 27, when you hook that much, it sort of helps you figure out things, you're more willing to try. So,
and I'm curious, Sallie, when you started like that first McGowan pattern, and it wasn't your style even back then, but you liked the pulling of the loops enough to want to continue, even if it wasn't. Isn't that interesting that it wasn't like you didn't like the pattern, but you liked the process enougto do it anyway?
So Natalie had a class at the, I don't know what, in an adult class during the day at the, like someplace in Saybrook, at the junior high, I think it was. There was a room there, I can't remember, actually. I don't remember. But anyway, I went there, and then I heard about this place in a Sweetbriar studio in Rhode Island, and it was just 45 minutes from here. And I went up and I got a place and could go. She limited the number of people, but I was able to. And so I was there for quite a long while, and then and did lots of big rugs, little rugs, but not.
Found more of your style in those?
Yes. Well, I don't think I found what I really like to do until, quite frankly, really till I met you. And there were no rules.
Yeah.
There were no rules. I could do what I wanted to do. And, our daughter Marta, she'll say, well, you can't do that. And I said, oh, yes, I can do that. I can always pull it out if it's not right. But she said, well, I don't like that purple next to that purple. And why are you doing it purple? I said, because I like purple and I want to do purple.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she knows I'll pull it out if it's not right. I've already pulled some stuff out this morning, but so then I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed going there. We met every other week, I think, which was nice. And we would meet for 4 hours, 10 to 2.
Wow.
So we would have lunch, and then we would, hook some more. And then, and the person had wool. When the owner had it in the beginning, and then unfortunately she died of cancer, she dyed beautiful wool. The next owner did dye wool, but I never thought I had enough. She didn't do enough of it for us. So, and then I found Marie Azara, I believe. She's in Killingworth. She has Yankee Peddler.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and she's not too far from me, so I would go down there to get wool.
Nice.
She had more different colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite part of the process, like planning, designing, working on it, finishing it, or as many of us is shopping for supplies or gathering wool? Can you just pick one if you had to, or is it?
I think I like now kind of designing and trying to put it together. I'm still feel that I'm not so good about pulling the wool to do it, but I'm getting better because of Robin. Yeah, I mean, I'm beginning to see the process, which is really nice. And I got to take a couple of workshops online, some with you, and I think I had something else, I'm not sure, but during COVID, it was nice because I got to see different people.
Yeah.
There aren't any really workshops around here. And I haven't, and because of COVID, I didn't really go out, but it was really great online to see different people do different things. But when I put the wool together and I just cleaned out everything because it was an ungodly mess, I was like, oh yeah, now really that's green. That's not red, or that's not blue, whatever I might, and I was able to, get them in the right slot, sort of, or better. But I like to, and I like to hook, but sometimes when I get to a part where, oh, I see where that is, let's move on.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm a person who starts a project, finishes a project, and moves on. But right now I have a few too many projects.
Yeah.
A few too many that need to be, like my clouds for my creek rug. I want to get that one finished. And then I'm working on my Clint rug now, which I designed. Well, I designed both of them actually.
Mhm.
And it's fun to see if you can do it. And if people think that what you did is what they know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
find that interesting because I've done kind of a little series of the breakwater at the mouth of the Connecticut River, and I've done the beach, and I've done Crab Creek in the winter, and now I've done Crab Creek in the spring. And it's interesting to say, oh yeah, well, this is Crab Creek in the winter. Oh, okay, I guess so. I said, well, it's my interpretation. I'm not hurt by it.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not hurt by the fact that people can't quite see it.
Yeah.
But I it's my interpretation, and that's the fun part, I think.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
tree.
I find that exciting. I find that very
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. Now, I mean, you showed us the one that you did of on the cloud one.
Oh,
Was
the
it-
sunset.
Yeah, I think, or yeah, no, it was the beach.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that one. Well, I don't know if it looks like that or not, but that doesn't matter. It's whether it's pleasing to my eye or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I
and
think
yeah, I love seeing people's reaction to it, because that one particular that you're talking about is a place that I've gone with my family for many years, just like your creek is, very familiar to you, and I've never been there. But to see people either connect with it or not, it's kind of magical, because you just never know who will or won't, or why.
No, and the people, today when I was cleaning up, Marta was there, she said, oh, I really like that rug that you did. And she said, I want that. I don't know where it is. I would like to hang that on my door, because her bedroom is right next door to where I hook, and I always hang something on the door. And I went, oh yeah, that's Klimt. that was the little one when I did the squares. That's Klimt. So it is funny the reaction you get. I think Deanne Patrick said something once, I might not like the rug, but it might be somebody else's favorite.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just never know.
No, you don't know. Well, you might be disappointed because you didn't do this or you didn't do that, but I can see growth in what I'm doing, which is fun.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wish you had learned sort of sooner in your journey of rug making, or something you wished to share with other potentially new hookers that are, would save you stress or save them stress? Or
well, I would like to have been able to do colors better. It's not a part of me. I never took an well, I did a painting class, but mostly the painting was, you put this color here, I put that color there,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I wish I had a better background or could see the color better. I can, if I hook something in, I know if it's wrong, but
Okay.
I don't always know what to put.
Yeah.
And that to me is a really hard part. And I don't think you can teach that to anybody.
Mm, yeah. I mean, I think it's one of those skills that people can develop and get more comfortable with,
Yes.
but some people just see it. Like, I think you're right. Some people have a natural tendency to be like, they could pull out from my stash here and be
Yes.
like, this works. And some of us
Yes.
would have to pull it all out, make a huge mess, play with it for an hour or two, and then come up with something.
Yes, that's where it was till this morning. It was all over the floor because we were looking this and what one person's sees one thing and one person sees another one. I don't know. Well, I just, I'm somebody who just goes with the flow.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a really great cutter till this year. After 30 years of hooking, I treated myself to honeydew, I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it. But, I had the little crank one.
Yeah.
But I am pleased. Somebody said that'll make a difference. And I do believe that it has made a difference. I maybe didn't buy the right number, the blade, the cutter numbers, but I might have to have another one.
That was going to be my question. What cutters did you decide on if you had to only?
I went 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Oh.
And now, because I knew I wasn't going to do really little, but sometimes you need a 4. And I wish I had an 8 because now I'm into quillies,
Yes. Yeah.
And I think you could make some small quillies with an 8. Although maybe if I pulled out my old cutter, which isn't so precise, I might get a wide enough strip. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, that might be worth it. And it doesn't have to be perfect for quilly.
No. But I like learning new things.
Yeah.
When I started out 30 years ago, would you put a piece of yarn in your rug? I don't think so. Would you wait to bind your rug at the end? I don't think so. You would have to have your binding all attached. So if you wanted to make it bigger, couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's a good thing I didn't start hooking 30 years ago.
Yeah. Well, those were the rules.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't remember if there were rules about you had to put 2 rows around it. And don't start a short row before the corner. It's got to go all the way around, which were probably smart things. And I do remember them and I still do them, but I don't always do 2 rows around it. And I very rarely sew a binding on now ahead of time, because I do know that there are times when you wish it was bigger.
Yeah. Well, and I think there is, even though I encourage people to not worry too much about rules, there is a reason that they were created. Like, even because I started from a teacher who only used yarn and she only made art for the wall and it was framed. She didn't even make cushions or whatever. It was all framed. So because of the yarn she used, she often left the tails at the back. Like she didn't pull the tails up. So I had no idea that was an odd thing to do until I went to a guild meeting and they were like, what are you doing? And then they explained to me why you would want the tails up if you're making a floor rug, which of course makes sense. And so there is a very good reason for it. But at the same time, there's times where it's like, okay, that reason is not applicable when you're making work art for the wall. And so you get to not do it if you don't want to.
Yeah, because I never made things that hung on the wall until maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. They always went on the floor, even if they were little. And because I also wasn't hooking with yarn.
Right.
Or doing, I mean, I just love the thought of embellishments and things like that. I don't have much wall space, but I can figure that out. And even if they're rolled up, I don't care. It's sort of like, whoa, that's done. But then when I unroll it, like the rug we're going to talk about today,
Yeah.
that I unroll it, oh, no label.
Oh, yeah,
But I need to write a lot about that on that rug.
yeah.
So, and what I forgot what our question was, so I can get back where I was. Oh, things we did.
Yeah, and
I
no
guess.
rules. But yeah, so there's different
Yeah.
reasons for them, but sometimes they're just not applicable anymore, and
Right.
it's okay to let them go.
Yeah. And I like seeing some of the 3D things, although I have to say my fingers don't work as well anymore. So some of that would be hard, but I love seeing the process and how I love the process, I guess.
Yeah.
If I call the tree man to come trim my trees, he better not come on a day when I'm not here, because I want to see the process.
Oh,
I'm not interested. I'm not looking at his work critically and saying, well, you didn't pull this loop up here, or why didn't
Right.
you do this? I just think it's fascinating what different things that people do.
yeah. Oh, isn't that awesome? I hadn't thought of it that way, but I remember I had a big tree come down before we moved at our other house, because it was dying and dangerous.
Yeah.
And I loved watching him. Well,
Yeah.
them, it was more than one actually. So it's interesting because I also love to watch people, like when I take an in-person class, when I went to
Yeah.
Vermont recently, I'm very distracted by what other people are doing. And it's not
Yeah.
like I'm not judging, or I hope I'm not judging. I'm just curious, like, oh, she picked that, or why did she, what's she doing
Yes.
over there?
Yes. 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 Well, we put an addition on our house, and I retired from my job because I wasn't going to miss one single thing. My husband and I would sometimes sit out on the lawn chairs to watch
Yeah.
them pull these 100-year-old stumps out of the ground. What is your process? How do you make that rug? Why do you decide that color? How did you get that picture? How could I do that? I mean, my mind is going like, how could I do that? How could I replicate it? How could I don't want to replicate what you're doing. I want to replicate it for what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that is so fascinating. I hadn't really thought of it that way, but yeah, absolutely. I'm always intrigued and all those little decisions that people are making as they go.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Why?
Yes, why? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that's super fascinating. I'll be thinking about that all day, I think. Do you have a favorite material, tool? Well, maybe now you have a favorite cutter. But something that you're like, I cannot hook without this.
I have, I like linen. I've been mostly doing, I had a really hard time during COVID because, they were out of stuff.
Yeah.
So this is a bleached linen. I think primitive. Sometimes my fingers like it and sometimes they don't. But what I do like about it is if I have my pattern drawn out with a nice marker, I can just lay it down and trace right over it.
Oh, yes.
And I don't have to do the other stuff.
Yeah.
Which I find so, you draw the pattern on, then you put the red dot. I mean, you have your pattern, then you get it enlarged to Staples. Then you go put the red dot over it or the tool or whatever you're using. Then you trace it, and then you make sure you have it all. And then you get your linen out, and then you put it down. That takes all the joy out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's too long of a process.
Yeah. So I rather just, than just trace it, and there it is.
Yeah.
And I can see it right. I'm not doing intricate patterns. If I was doing an intricate pattern, that would be different, but I'm not. So I like linen. I've done mostly linen. I guess I did burlap. I don't like monk's cloth or the other one.
Warp.
No.
Yeah.
Too tight. Something. I don't like it. And this is my hook.
Oh, is that a Moshmer?
I guess so. I've had it for, I think this is my second one in 30 years. And I buy other ones, and it fits into my hand. It doesn't give me trouble with my thumb. I hold it, just like this. and it's happy. And I used what were they? The Fraser cutters, the little,
Yeah.
those. And now I have a honeydew purple.
A purple one. Wow. Oh, gorgeous. That's a work of
Yes.
art in itself.
It is. It is. So I'm very happy with that, and it cuts really nicely.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I did have my husband buy me for Christmas a those things that you cut with
the bent scissors. Oh,
the round blade. The
oh, yes, for quilting, like a rotary
Yes.
cutter. Yes.
yeah, a rotary cutter. So I got that so that I can I have some sari silk that
Yes.
that I got, and did not, you know how Deanne goes like this.
It didn't.
Well, they cut it the other way, so you can't go like that.
Okay.
I figured that out yesterday finally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and you know, basically once you buy and I have three
Frames.
frames, three frames. My my blue I'm sorry, my brain is gone.
That's okay. Oh, yeah. The blue one.
Puritan.
Yes.
A
I was gonna say
Puritan
the blue is the
frame.
only, yeah.
Yes, and then I have one that you can take with you that's that collapses. And then I bought one from place up in Connecticut that has the big round ones,
Yes.
but I bought a square one, and I kind of like it, not as
Which
much.
one is your go-to? Like if you only
Puritan,
Puritan.
yeah. Because if I'm using mixed fibers, the other one pulls them right out. The Puritan the grippers aren't as strong, so it doesn't pull it out.
Yeah.
And I have to keep, you know, stretching it, but I like that. And I have a stand for it.
Oh, that's convenient. Yeah. I've never used one, but I've heard a lot of people absolutely love them.
Yeah, yeah. Forever and ever they've been around.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Can you describe, like, I know I find this really hard, so I find it a hard question, but what does rug cooking do for you? Like, why do you keep doing it? What is it that?
Oh, it's peaceful. It's I mean, it's been great to meet new people. I'm a very quiet person. And so this is and allowed me to be able to meet other people and to join in, be quiet if I want to, or not be quiet. I find it's just when I want to get away, it's just, I don't know, it just feeds my soul. And I learn new things.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say I'm not in competition, but nobody does rug cooking around that I know. So I can just do it myself. You know,
Yeah.
I did teach a friend of mine to do it, but she's such a perfectionist that, oh my God, you know, that's hard. I'm not so perfectionist.
Yeah.
I just want to do, you know, I don't know what's going to happen when I'm no longer here with my probably 50 rugs already here, or mats or Christmas ornaments. More than that, maybe we're up even higher, but someone will take care of them.
Oh yeah, somebody will, definitely, or lots of somebodies.
Yes, let's hope so. Yes, I probably should start doing little tags, but I'm so attached to some of them that even though they're rolled up, I don't want to send them. And when I was looking for something, I found all these Christmas rugs. I said, when did I do those? Wow. Yeah, it was fun.
Oh.
They appeared downstairs in front of the TV, and I said, look what I found. I didn't even know I had them. All done. No labels though.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, I think feeding your soul though is a beautiful way to summarize the process.
Yes. Yeah, it is. I just find it relaxing and peaceful, and you know, we all need to have a place to go to when life gets a little overwhelming. And this is a good place to go. Even if I just come and sit, I have a great room. I have, it's about 14 by 25. It was the old living room, dining room, because we moved downstairs. And so I have plenty of room and 3 windows and 3 skylights and horrible lighting. But besides that, it's great.
We make it work.
Yes, we
That
do
sounds
make it work.
wonderful. So I'm going to pull up a picture of one of the, is it this your first rug you said, or the first, not obviously not your first rug, your first big rug, or?
No, it's not. It's not my first big rug, but it's
Oh.
a rug that I started during COVID.
Oh, okay. So here we go. Can you see
Okay.
it?
Oh, yeah, that came out nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a
All
good.
right. So the chair on the right, the little wicker chair, these
Mhm.
are, this is my summer house that I grew up in. We got it in 1950. And it was a 8-car garage for an inn that was down the street. And they moved the two ends where you see the two red ends with the wind. They moved those and added a living room, 20 by 20 or something like that. It was on a cement slab. And we grew up there, and it's on a golf course. And my mom had summered there until she died. She'd been there 94 years. My grandmother had been there since she was born also. So we started, my mom gave it to us, to my sister, who's 2 years younger than I am. And so Robert and I would go after Labor Day for 2 weeks. And I was sketching in a sketchbook. So I would draw a picture. I'd sit in the kitchen and have the TV, and I would draw these things, and then I put them away. And during COVID, I pulled the book out and went, oh, this might be interesting. Everybody was making little 8x8s. So I started with the wicker chair. And then I thought, now I'm going to do the couch, which was the most horrible couch to sit on. It went back, and it was, it was like awful. But anyway, it had been my grandparents, so it was ancient. So I did that, and on the same piece of linen. And then somebody said, well, why don't you just keep going and do those? Fortunately, this is why you don't put a binding on.
Yeah.
And you make sure you have a big enough piece. Fortunately, I had a big enough piece. There were more things I could have added, but I ran out of room. And then I went to so I kind of blocked it off in squares. And so the blue one is the TV on the table.
Yeah.
On the right, yeah, with a picture above it. And then the left is the kitchen counter with the stools and the stove and the, I forget what some of those were, flowers, and then the microwave and some candlesticks and a bucket of something or other.
Yeah.
And then I added the address 24 Agawam Avenue. And then I put the house in, all from sketches that I had done in this little sketchbook.
Wow. Now I'm really curious. What is the red under the TV table?
I think it was a brick that my mother had needle pointed.
Oh, okay.
You know, just little things that were, and the old lamp, and then the couch has a pillow that I bought at a thrift shop or at a tag sale or something. It had apples on it, I think.
Oh, fun.
And so then it became, and then in 2015, I think, or 16, I owned half of it. I turned my half over to my nephew. And in 2017, they tore it down. So that's why it says 1950 to 2017. They tore it down and put up a more modern house. And so that's why it's called the old red house.
Right. Is the new one red too?
The front door is red, and I think it's kind of called the red house still because it sat on that property since 1950.
Yeah.
It was there a long time.
And I bet they get a more comfortable couch.
Oh yeah, they have more comfortable everything. Oh, I better be careful.
Yeah.
They might see the video. And the trees have all come down because they were trees that my parents brought down. We had a Willys Jeep, and the trees were about an inch in diameter, and Dad brought them down and they planted. There were some in the front of the house, and And one day, luckily, the people, they were renting it, the people were inside the house and the tree fell down.
Oh my
We didn't
God.
have any idea. I mean, we took good care of our trees, but we had no idea. So then slowly we got rid of all of them because you can't, I mean, there could have been kids with, there were bikes on the lawn and golf clubs, and, you know, it would have been just, I wouldn't be sitting here now.
No, sometimes they have to come down. Well,
Yeah.
it is
So
beautiful.
so I just did a dark brown border.
Mhm.
That was before I'd gotten a little, you know, doing, I don't think I was whipping things at that point, but I just think I love it.
It is beautiful. It is
Yeah.
beautiful. And I love the
really-
stories behind it. Like, that is so special.
Well, in 1950, when my grandfather walked, I guess it was probably 1949, my grandfather walked out of his house that was across the street and said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Oh, we're building a house." And he said, "I want right of first refusal, please." And so my parents bought it for $10,000.
Wow.
You know that, and my mom was pregnant, and so when she would go through the house, and she was really pregnant, and she'd go through the house and she'd say to the carpenter, "Oh no, that doorway is not big enough. I will never be able to get through." Not realizing, it didn't dawn on her that she wasn't going to be that way the
That
whole
big
time.
always.
Yeah. Yeah. And so behind the house is a golf course, a 9-hole golf course, and that's where Katharine Hepburn used to play. She would walk right behind the golf balls hit our house, and
Wow.
yeah.
That is
So
pretty special.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And the little one at the bottom is my first thing of doing anything sort of like, I think there might be wool. It might be just all wool strips. I'm not sure, but it is Bermuda,
It is
the
beautiful.
water in Bermuda.
Yeah. And I love the framing of that one.
Yes, Robert did that one, but he stopped doing them.
Oh.
Have to get him back doing them again.
Back to doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It's very hard though, I find, to get them to fit inside.
Mhm.
That's a real trick. I mean, yeah, 6 by 6, but you really have to make it, and I didn't realize this till probably last year, really have to make them a half to an inch shorter
Yeah.
all around so that you can get them in.
Yeah. Because they stretch after you've
Yeah,
pulled the loops, they've stretched for sure.
Right.
For sure.
right.
There we go.
So I'm hoping, one of my goals this year is to take down the portraits of my relatives that was done in probably the 1800s. And I'd like to fill one wall with all my hooked things that are rolled up in my cubes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I think that would be fun. It would also be really good insulation.
it would. It would.
I'm always thinking in those directions, so it would be good insulation. And they would be on the window that would be facing in, and they wouldn't get the sun.
Yeah, they're not getting direct light.
But they cannot go up until they have labels.
Yeah. We're going to work on that this year. That's my
Yes.
goal.
Yes.
And that is my goal for sure.
Yes.
Well, I think, thank you so much, Sallie. I'm so inspired. I love seeing all the different rugs and seeing how much you've grown too, just in the time I've known you, of exploring completely different things. But yeah, I'm going to be thinking about the process part too now.
Well, I think the people who I hook with, who I spent a lot of time with for those 2 years, every time I finish something, they go, "I can't believe what you do now. And so different from what you did when we first met you."
Which only makes sense too. Like, I mean, as we grow as people, we should be changing styles and everything. So it's beautiful that you've allowed that to happen.
Yeah, it's fun.
So
thank you for asking me to participate.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing. And thank you for the people that are watching. And I'll just say, if anybody else is out watching this, I am always looking for new people to interview. So please feel free to reach out to me, and my email will be attached on the YouTube to connect. So thank you, Sallie. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Robin.
I will be seeing you again soon.
Yes.
Thank you.